Welcome back to Investing Talk podcast. Today, we're looking into RCAT Holdings. They're focused on some pretty advanced aerial and maritime systems, really carving out a space in the defense sector with unmanned tech. And the big question for you today is, well, is now a potentially good time to think about buying shares of RCAT Holdings? Before we really get into it, please remember to subscribe, like this analysis if you find it useful, and drop a comment. Also, definitely let us know if there's a specific company you want us to examine next. Just leave it in the comments below.
Yeah, this one's interesting. It's a complex picture because you've got this significant technical strength lately, analyst upgrades pushing things up, but the fundamentals underneath, that's a much tougher story. So we really need to balance that recent momentum against, well, the financial reality.
Okay, let's start with that momentum then, because it's been pretty explosive recently. The past 3 months saw the stock moving strongly towards its 52-week highs, largely fueled by this wave of analyst enthusiasm, right?
That's exactly right. It really kicked off, I'd say, back in August 2025. Northland Securities came out with a price target of $16. That got attention. And then just recently, October 4th actually, Needham & Company initiated coverage. They slapped a buy rating on it and went even higher. $17 target.
Wow, a $17 target. That's a pretty bold call given the volatility we've seen. What's the overall feeling, the consensus?
Well, if you look across the 5 main research firms tracking RCAT, the sentiment's definitely bullish. The average rating is a buy. And that consensus price target lands right at $16.50. So, yeah, institutions seem convinced there's more upside here, likely based on the technology angle.
And it wasn't just talk, was it? They backed it up with a major financial move, that proposed public offering in September.
Right, specifically to fund their drone tech.
And they pulled it off.
They absolutely did. They raised a huge $172.5 million. I mean, for a company this size, that's a massive capital injection. It significantly boosts their financial runway, secures R&D funding for a while. Analysts see that kind of successful raise, and it definitely reduces near-term liquidity worries. Fuels the bullish case.
Okay, so it sounds almost perfect upgrades, huge, successful capital raise, R&D funded, seems like all green lights. But there's always a but, isn't there? Where's the caution needed here?
Well, the caution comes from where experienced investors often look.
Yeah.
Insider activity. Despite all this positive noise and the massive cash infusion, we saw some notable insider selling last quarter. Director Christopher Armo, for example, he sold 10,000 shares. Now, as part of a larger trend, about 86,833 shares sold by insiders in total during that period.
So the analysts outside are yelling buy, while some insiders, who presumably know the day-to-day, are taking some money off the table. That's a classic divergence.
It really is. Now, it doesn't automatically mean the long-term story is flawed, but it often suggests that maybe those closest to the operations think the current price jump is a bit high. Perhaps a good time to lock in some gains. It's definitely a data point you, as a potential investor, need to weigh against that strong bullish narrative. Can't ignore it.
Right. Okay, so we've seen the hype, the analysts love, and that huge pile of cash they just raised. But now let's flip the coin and look at the actual business operations. Why did they need to raise $172.5 million? What's the underlying financial health that requires that kind of funding, especially if it means diluting shareholders?
And this is where the picture gets starkly different. The sources lay out some really challenging numbers on current performance. Let's start with revenue. In 2024, it was just $7.28 million. That's a huge drop, down 59.2% from the $17.84 million they did in 2023.
Wait, hang on. A nearly 60% drop in revenue year over year. Normally, that sounds like a five-along fire. How are analysts justifying $7 targets with that?
Because they're essentially ignoring the present and betting everything on the future potential. They almost have to. Because the profitability situation is even rougher. Margins are deeply negative. Think pre-tax margin around negative 247%. And the trailing 12-month net loss, it's a huge negative, $86.88 million. This company is burning through cash right now to build its tech. It's not generating profits.
Okay, that loss definitely puts the $172.5 million raise into perspective. They need that cash to survive while they chase those big contracts. But pivoting back, you mentioned the balance sheet itself. Their ability to actually raise that much cash is strong.
Absolutely. That's really the bedrock supporting the optimism. Even before this latest raise, they had about $65.9 million in cash reserves as of Q2 2025. And crucially, their total liabilities are quite low, only around $25.8 million. So they're funding this aggressive loss-making growth, mainly through equity, through dilution, not loading up on dangerous debt.
So the whole bull case really hinges on their competitive advantage, their moat. If they're losing this much money, what exactly do they have technology market position that makes analysts believe they can jump from an $86 million loss to being a major player?
It's all about their laser focus on the high-end defense and government market. They're not really chasing consumer drones. They're developing very advanced unmanned aerial and maritime systems. We're talking AI-enabled drones like the Black Widow, specialized platforms like RCAT for ISR.
And just quickly, ISR stands for listeners maybe not deep in defense jargon.
Ah, right. Intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Basically, the high-tech end of gathering data for defense purposes. The key thing is they're aiming for the top tier of global military procurement, not just selling gadgets.
And that connects to the credibility games you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. The big news highlighted in the sources was the Black Widow system getting approved for NATO cataloging. That's a huge deal. It instantly makes their potential market much bigger, covering the entire NATO alliance. And maybe more importantly, it validates their tech meets extremely strict military standards. Big credibility boost.
And they're not going it alone either, right? There were mentions of partnerships.
Correct. The recent partnership with Safe Pro Group, focusing on integrating AI threat detection into their drones, that shows they're actively using that new capital to push their tech forward right now. And their target clients, the U.S. military, NATO government agencies, that's the core of the long-term multi-billion-dollar potential that analysts are really betting on.
Okay, that clarifies the rationale behind the bullishness, even with those losses. Let's look ahead now. This is where things get really interesting for near-term price action and volatility. What key events are coming up in the next, say, 3 months that could either confirm that $17 target or maybe derail it?
Well, the first big one is right around the corner. Q3 2025 earnings are expected around November 14th, 2025. Now, nobody expects profits yet, but these results are critical for showing progress. Investors will want to see how they plan to use the new cash, and critically, any signs that the revenue decline is turning around, or at least bottoming out.
Okay, earnings are key. What about external factors like institutional trading events?
Yeah, those create potential volatility windows later in the year and early next. You've got the ETF quarterly rebalancing around December 1st, 2025. That can force funds to buy or sell big chunks of stock. Then the big one for tracking institutional interest is the institutional holdings filing, due around January 5th, 2026. That reveals which major funds piled in or maybe got out, which can be a powerful market signal.
And looking at the stock chart itself, as of early October, the momentum seemed aligned with all this institutional focus. It closed around $13.02, breaking through some previous resistance levels.
Yeah, the technicals definitely confirm the uptrend for now. The price is trading above both its 50-day and 200-day moving averages. It's a classic bullish signal. And importantly, the analysis points to some clear levels to watch. Key support seems established around $12.50 to $12.70. As long as it holds above that zone, the path towards that $16, $17 analyst range looks, technically speaking, pretty clear.
Now, besides the known dates and the charts, this sector, defense tech, often runs on buzz, on speculation. What kind of rumors are swirling around RCAT that might be adding to the volatility?
Oh, the chatter is definitely playing a role. There's persistent speculation about acquisition talks. Because they have this specialized military-grade drone tech like that NATO-approved Black Widow, the rumor mill keeps churning out stories that a major defense contractor might just buy them outright to get the tech and the military contracts access.
That would certainly be a big win for current investors. Anything else float around?
Well, there's also some, let's say, unverified industry talk about them launching a new, maybe AI-enhanced drone platform soon that would tie directly into that Safe Pro partnership and the purpose of the big capital raise. And finally, with the high short interest combined with the strong buy ratings in institutional buying, there are always whispers about a potential short squeeze. That adds a layer of high-risk, high-reward potential for traders.
Okay, we've covered a lot of the positive momentum and speculation, but we need to keep this balanced for you, the listener. Let's talk risks. What are the main dangers here that could really knock this stock off course?
The risks are pretty clear, and they're significant. First, obviously, are those ongoing operational losses. Burning through $86 million a year is just a heavy anchor on the valuation period. Second, the flip side of that successful capital raise is the dilution risk. They needed $172.5 million now. If those losses continue at this rate, well, they're going to need more funding down the line, which means issuing more shares and diluting existing owners further.
Makes sense. And the final key risk?
It's execution. Pure and simple. This is a relatively small company dealing with incredibly complex, high-stakes defense technology. They have to scale up manufacturing, they have to deliver on demanding government and NATO contracts perfectly, on time, and they have to integrate advanced AI without glitches. The margin for error in this field is, frankly, tiny.
So, putting it all together, the huge cash pile, the steep losses, the NATO win, the insider sales, where does the overall analysis land for you, the listener, considering a position now? The final rating comes out surprisingly bullish at 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, and the reason for that bullish lean really rests on that strong institutional backing, the positive analyst consensus with those $15 to $17 targets, and the clear technical uptrend. Plus, you have those near-term catalysts, the November earnings, the ongoing impact of NATO approvals providing potential sparks for the share price.
And thinking about the investment timeline, based on everything we've discussed from the sources, it seems to have appeal for different types of investors. It looks interesting for short-term traders wanting to play the Q4 catalysts and volatility, but also potentially compelling for long-term investors betting on that AI defense leadership and the broader growth in global defense spending.
Right. And maybe to wrap things up, here's a final thought for you to really chew on. We know about the huge operational losses, which are currently way bigger than their revenue. We know about the massive capital raise and the dilution that comes with it. So the critical question becomes, how fast and how flawlessly does Red Cat Holdings need to execute on landing and delivering these NATO contracts and pushing their AI innovation to actually justify the very high optimism baked into those analyst targets right now? It really highlights that tension between the cost of growth through dilution and the potential future rewards.